big exercise had been carefully planned, right down to the smallest detail. It was up to me as station adjutant to keep all the preparation going according to plan. And as the exercise had drawn nearer, so the sense of urgency had grown. Now, with the exercise right on top of us, I had to check around all the sections to make sure everything would be right.
Good morning, Fire Squadron, Flight Sergeant Garrett.
All complicated aircraft have their problems, and the bomber technicians were busy sorting out their share that morning. There'd been some trouble with the starboard engine of one of the aircraft, and when I called, the oil was being drained so a pressure pipe could be replaced. At no time can you afford to take risks with sophisticated machinery like this. At the same time, the electronics technicians were changing the radar components. Throughout the hangar, the instrument mechanics were making their final checks on the bomb sites. And on one aircraft, last-minute replacements were being made to a tailplane.
But I'm just sending a chap round to stores for a spare now, sir.
In the armory, the same sort of preparation. Rifles, ejection seats, small arms, guns and rockets were all getting a last check over. In the bomb dump, the whole range of aircraft weapons was being checked and made ready. The tempo was building up. Safety first, and at the station hospital, the aircraft medical kits were carefully repacked. In the dentist's surgery, routine maintenance as well. The exercise was no excuse. By now, the whole Air Force was on a war footing. Security was vital, and the security provosts were briefed for round-the-clock operations. In other sections, the routine, painstaking work went on as usual. From the maintenance of a watch and the splutter of a weld to the noise of the machine shop, the skills of the Air Force were being patiently applied. The parachutes were given their usual thorough inspection before packing and repairs made to their covers. All the fire equipment, engines and hoses were given their daily checks. Elsewhere, the precise, delicate calibration of aircraft instruments was the program for the morning. The radio specialists had their own calibrations to sort out in their workshops full of communications and test equipment. But while all this activity was going on throughout the Air Force, the inner man was not forgotten, and neither were the routine ways of building up an appetite.
Number one, flight! Eyes! Next!
Before long, the domestic chores were well in hand, and so were the preparations for the exercise. The air movement section was loading the temporary airfield equipment and the men to operate it, ready to be moved to their emergency sites around Rhodesia. Then to the headquarters operations room, hub of the entire exercise, to collect a final brief.
Oh, morning, Peter.
Clerks and operations assistants, a small force of their own, were filing statistics and at readiness of the whole Air Force. The smallest details would prove invaluable. I would have to pick up information on targets, crews and aircraft for the first flight the following morning.
Hello, Ozzy.
The commander came in to get the latest information from the operations officer just before I left.
We have all our new serum units.
Everything was ready to go in the north of the country, but there was still some last-minute work being done on the aircraft at our base at Thornhill. From headquarters, there was just time to get back to the station for our own exercise briefing.
Sit down, please. Good morning, gentlemen. As you know, we're here to brief on the force exercise which starts at first light tomorrow. Exercise Vanguard will involve all our squadrons and a large number of VR units as well.
Around the country, temporary forward airfields had been set up in the bush and were ready to operate under emergency conditions. The exercise would last 6 days and would mean activity around the clock. The first mission would go off in the morning on a precision navigation sortie. Specific points would have to be covered along the route at exact timings.
Timing will be done by the police stations as usual. Throughout the week, the tempo will build up with key missions, fighter interceptors and transport support and resupply of the forward bases. There will be a parachute deployment over a selected target, and the week will wind up with concentrated attacks on simulated enemy positions on the range. Generally, the Trojans will act as forward air controllers, and all other aircraft will use cannon, bombs, guns, and rockets.
The exercise had begun. All the preparation was now over. The real work started and the success or failure of the exercise rested squarely on the pilots and navigators flying the missions. The bombers taxied out that first morning for what was to be a low-level flight of 700 nautical miles over a series of timing points. By the time I got to the station operations room, the bombers were approaching their first timing point.
Oh, get me a pin, Marion. Thanks. Yes, they should be at the first police station here in about 7 seconds.
Another mission was approaching the bombing range at the same time for the first attack of the week. 3 Marker aircraft were out preparing the way for the bombers.
Green section, this is Marker Lido with 2 Trojans at the provost. We're over the target and standing by to mark on time. Roger, Marker, we're 20 seconds out, standing by for your markers. Steady, 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 target area dead ahead. Steady, steady, steady. Green section, this is Marker C, marking your target now. Marker sighted, turn left, 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 steady, steady there. Check safety switch. Check, steady, steady, bomb gone. Bomb falling. Ranger, bomb falling, heading 119. Roger, green, 119. Check safety switches on. On strike.
The fighter force came in afterwards to back up the bombers with strafing attacks. In another part of the country, transport aircraft were on the move, dropping parachutists for a ground mission. It wasn't long before we had our first emergency. An African game guard was stopped by an army ambush in the Zambezi Valley. He had been running to get help for a game ranger who'd been gored by a buffalo. The patrol's report soon reached Air Force headquarters, and within minutes we had a casualty evacuation team on the way.
I want 1 helicopter airborne immediately for Casabac.
We'll be airborne again in 30 seconds. Please inform the hospital our ETA is 1540. Roger, Yellow, we'll go.